A lot of strange things happened during this trip. To write it all down would be too much to read, so here it is in concentrated form. Shroom are very hard to get where I live, but we had been fortunate enough to get some. Pretty expensive, but what the hell. My friend Zeke, his girlfriend Janet and I decided to devour our cyanescens shrooms one Saturday afternoon. The weather was pretty bad, but we were all so set, so we decided to go ahead with our plans. About 3:30 we mixed the shrooms with some yogurt. I mixed my entire gram and Zeke and Janet had about 0.6 each. This was to be my first, real trip. We then went to a nature reservation that was just behind Janet's house. The reservation consists of about 3 big old abandoned quarries and the trippiest forest I've ever seen. We had been walking for about 20 minutes when Zeke told us that he was feeling kind of funny. I didn't feel a thing and I was thinking that maybe I blew all my cash on bad shrooms. But about 45 minutes after eating them I was beginning to feel a slight buzz. There was a tingling feeling in my legs and stomach. I could imagine the psilocybin being absorbed and traveling through my bloodstream and eventually reaching my brain. By this time we had reached the forest and the first quarry. I suddenly began laughing myself stupid for no reason whatsoever. The others must have thought I was getting mad or something. But I didn't care cause I was in a bliss. I could suddenly see the ground slightly breathing and I was beginning to get seasick. We decided to move on to the next quarry. When we arrived the trip had become more intense. The ground was breathing very clearly by this time, and the rocks I was walking on turned into lizards' heads. At this time I developed a theory on the meaning of life, but unfortunately I can't remember what it was. Damn. The others had climbed up on a cliff and were calling for me. I had a problem getting to them because I didn't want to step on the lizards. Once I had gotten up on the cliff I sat down on the highest point and put on my CD Walkman. I was listening to very trippy ambient music. When I listened to this music the ground I was looking down on started moving. Different parts were moving for different notes in the music. I felt like a conductor and the ground was my orchestra, and at the end of the song I actually heard applause. The next thing I remembered was that the ground instead of breathing started acting like water and was waving and twirling all over, pretty nice. The water was beginning to climb the rocks towards me, and of course I didn't want to get wet so I moved. We walked a bit further into the woods until we got to a big flat rock. We lay down on it and Janet connected another pair of headphones to my CD player. The rock was the highest point in the forest, so when we lay down all you saw was the sky. It was a very cloudy day and the wind must have reached up to 30 meters per second. So needless to say the clouds were moving quite fast. Laying there watching the clouds they soon turned into millions of fractals and symbols of old Greek gods were floating by. Then I saw a bright image in the middle of my field of vision. This something or someone was playing the music I heard and showing me the pictures I saw. It was all special, just for me. I figured only God could show such divine beauty. I was laying down on the rock for about 45 minutes and during that time the sky had changed into all kinds of different colors: blue, yellow, pink and purple, and all kinds of shapes flew by. When I closed my eyes it was as bright as day and I saw all sorts of colors and patterns, but it was not very pleasant, so I opened my eyes again admiring the show God put on for me. I would have stayed on the rock longer but it was getting cold and I had to start moving. The trip was not as intense anymore, a few strange patterns or so, but all I really felt was a complete clarity and thought. We walked to the biggest quarry and just sat there admiring the view of the beach and the waves that came crashing into the rocks. The afterglow was great. All three of us felt great and we went around with big smiles on our faces for hours. I knew then that this had been a life-altering experience that I would cherish for the rest of my life.